Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel Teresa Jackson YouTube and TikTok educator. I hope that you are all well. And hello to all the new followers that have recently joined my page. My name is Teresa. I am 26 years old. I have cerebral palsy and type 1 diabetes. I am getting married in March 2026. I have made my channels to educate people and raise awareness on disabilities of all types, physical, mental and learning difficulties. Today's video is about my autobiography. This will be done in parts. My name is Teresa Jackson. Although I was born with my father's second name, which is Bellingham. An interesting fact that you may find fascinating is that the meaning of Bellingham is a homestead of the dwellers at the Bell Shepherd Hill. And another intriguing fact of the meaning of my first name is that Teresa is a girl's name of Greek origin, meaning late summer. Also, the first bearers of this name may have been from the Greek island called Thracia. I am a professional artist and YouTube content creator for education on disabilities, mental health needs and diabetes. I live in Wallington, a small and quiet town in South London, United Kingdom. I have been an artist since when I was 17 years old. And I have been a YouTube content creator since when I was 24 years old. I made my YouTube channel and my first video in early 2023. For the reason that I feel like it is important to talk about and educate people about disabilities, as it is very common and a natural thing for individuals to have. And commonly all types of disabilities are sometimes looked upon as something bad. So, therefore the natural response when a general person on the street may come up to someone and give them compassion or sympathy, for example, if they don't know or understand anything, when that is sometimes not the case. Meanwhile, when I was thinking about sharing my own journey to others on having a disability, the topic drew upon me that I have so much experience to give and to help others that may not know much about having a disability, or who wants to hear a successful story about someone with a disability. So, I will bring to you the ultimate and insertional journey from my childhood to adulthood and all the difficult challenges of becoming a successful artist and a YouTube content creator. I was born in the calm and uplifting town of Sheringham in Norfolk, in the United Kingdom, on a cold Christmassy winter's day on the 15th of December, 1998, to British parents. Norfolk is a county based in the east of England, known for its authentic broads and graceful countryside. Living in a compact seaside town as a single child with a disability, no one would have ever known that this could be the start of a powerful journey of a bright, intelligent young artist living with a physical disability and the difficult challenges of living with cerebral palsy and type 1 diabetes. Little did I know the possibilities that would come my way. My autobiography will take you through my experience in life of being a professional artist with cerebral palsy and type 1 diabetes. In life I identify myself as a sketch artist. And I have created an art project in the past for other residents of the care company where I live. I had the idea of composing an art project to get all disability artists together to be able to raise awareness. This would enable artists who have a disability to have the opportunity to get themselves recognized to the world like any other professional artist in the world. Therefore, I have curiosity and the inspirational enjoyment of having a compassionate diversion to educate people. This would soon be a feeling of sympathy to build on, assisting other people who may have handicapped needs, or in other words a disability. I then thought about the people that have disabilities in other countries, for example Burundi and South Sudan, who have little or no lack towards disability rights, and so this saddened me, alongside my own anguish and sorrow. I then observed a sign of remorse, so then I decided to explore making a YouTube channel. I then had the desire and determination to create my YouTube channel and create educational videos about disabilities. In addition to the very first day that I made my first video, I have not once regretted my decision to educate people about disabilities. And therefore, now whenever I do not create a video, I feel empty and naked, in which I can proportion my own wisdom of my life. With cerebral palsy and type 1 diabetes, this is because I get a sense of achievement and gratification when I make my videos, as I feel that I am contributing my experience and awareness to the disability community and society. This has been one of my favorite projects that I have really enjoyed doing, alongside many of my fine illustrations containing sketches with expression of creativity of my personality on my professional artist side. Behind all the good, I suffer from a mental disorder called borderline personality disorder and non-epileptic attack disorder. This is due to my childhood trauma and relationships with the adults in my life. And therefore from time to time throughout my adult life I experience emotions of suicide, abandonment and rejection from past experiences. These days are painful for myself and for the people around me. I have struggles of running away from everyone around me and to get away from reality. The way that I can describe it is I feel like I am in a small room in a fire of flames and I can't get away. I had this for many years and I had no help until after lockdown, where I had DBT therapy, and the only things that would help me is my artwork and music, as I did not have the skills to control my emotions. Whilst I was in DBT, I learned how to regulate my emotions, mindfulness, self-care and distress tolerance. This was difficult for me as I had not really had the people in my life that taught me how to control my emotions. I believe that if I had not gotten therapy I would not be writing this today. Discovering art. When I was attending college to study art, I then discovered an ambition for a love of sketching. Determined not to allow and let my physical challenges that come with having cerebral palsy have not stopped me. At the age of 24 I had worked hard to refine my own way of finding an artistic style. I have even created my own website during lockdown of 2020, where I illustrate and sell my own products featuring masterpieces of artwork, and enjoy spending time sketching animals, buildings, portraits and more. And it's not just the satisfaction from the finished piece that keeps me motivated. There are benefits for mental well-being, too. One day in an email to someone I said, drawing helps me with my mental health on a day-to-day basis. Despite my physical health, I still always make time to do my artwork and focus on my goal of becoming a well-known sketch artist. And this is my goal in life, to be successful as an artist and as a YouTube creator, educating people on disabilities when it is most important. Therefore, I feel like being an advocate for the disability community worldwide on my YouTube channel is one of my aspirations in life. And I would like to make a difference in other people's lives, as I feel sorry for the people who have disabilities in other countries. For those who are living poor and who cannot access the appropriate education and resources, so that we can provide the correct ways towards being able to help vulnerable people get the right care that they need. As a young child living in a quiet seaside town, my loud personality and sense of humor was the one that people will never forget. When I was 1 year old, I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy, and the following year when I was 2 years of age I got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, which is a chronic disease that occurs either when the pancreas does not produce enough insulin or when the body cannot effectively use the insulin it produces. And I must take insulin up to 4 times a day because your body cannot produce enough insulin on its own. Then at the age of 4 years old I got my first wheelchair because I am unable to walk due to being born with talipes where a person's foot or feet is bent inwards. And then I attended my first school called Sheringham Primary School when I was 5 years old. This is where my interest in art was noticed by my teachers who taught me during the time that I attended the school. My teachers noticed that I have a creative personality, particularly in my art lessons, which is where I loved to paint and draw. Therefore, I made sure that I focused my full attention on these lessons every time that I had an art lesson. Whenever I did art lessons, I would use this as an opportunity to channel her feelings through the expression in my artwork. I have always been a creative person ever since I was introduced to art by my friends and family. Art has been a big part of my life since an incredibly early age. I did find school difficult from a youthful age, as the struggles that I faced became more challenging over the years. Little did I know that this would affect my education and learning over time. This was down to the fact that I had to wear splints on my legs to straighten my feet out. And this would bring her a great amount of discomfort due to the pain. I was liked by my peers at school. And I maintained good relationships with my friends. I then had to move house, which made me have to change schools too. While I was happy to move, I had a fair number of emotions of worry and sadness going on. Especially when I knew that I was leaving my friends and teachers behind to go to my new school. I then moved to Norwich in Norfolk and went to a middle school in Norwich. When I first started my new school, I struggled to settle into the environment and get used to the new routine. Surprisingly, I made friends quickly and my new friends liked me. And my sense of humor. I was liked by my new teacher and support workers despite me having difficulties adjusting to the new school routine. But over time I then began to get used to the new school life. I did really enjoy taking part in the school choir whenever we did a school play, as I loved to sing and dance throughout my childhood. Although I wanted to become a singer later in life, I then began taking part in talent shows in my childhood and I really enjoyed this. This was before I had decided to become an artist later in life. A few months after starting my new school in Norwich, I then began to face challenges in my new home life. This would lead to me going into foster care, affecting my schooling and education down the line. Due to the number of meetings that I had to attend in school hours, I missed a lot of education and lesson time. As I was facing another change in a short amount of time, my anxiety and worry was high because I was going to be living with a family who I did not know. Luckily for me, I had the opportunity to meet the foster family that I would be living with. As for many other children that may not have the opportunity to meet their foster careers, being in foster care was just another new challenge for me to get my head around. But this change was going to be one that was going to be one of the most lifestyle changes that would come to me. With many mixed emotions going through me and getting to know a completely new family without knowing where I was going to live long term. I thought that the best approach for me at the beginning of the foster care journey was to get to know the foster family that I was living with. So, I then began to observe and learned about how the family routine worked and tried to adapt myself to their routine. This was a difficult challenge for me as I was used to my own routine as the only child at home. I was lucky enough that I was able to attend the same school that I was going to. And I still went to my family members on the weekends as I always did on the weekend. This was helpful to me as it felt like I was still loved and still was part of a family unit in my own family. During my time in foster care, I started to learn how to become independent, which I have not learned before. I felt overwhelmed at first as I have always wanted to learn to do the things that other children of the age of 8 years old were doing. Like for example going to the toilet and feeding myself. This was a big accomplishment for me as I felt like I was like the other children my age. Once I had finished middle school I then planned to go to a mainstream secondary school. But when I had started to look for a high school which would accommodate my needs and diabetes care as I have type 1 diabetes. And this includes taking insulin 4 times a day. And someone had to administer my insulin for me as I could not administer myself due to my disability, and so I then went to a special needs school called the Clare School in Norwich in Norfolk. I was not keen on going to a special needs school as I was looking to go to a mainstream high school with other peers at my learning level. And therefore I was really frustrated with this decision as I thought that I was going to have no friends as I don't have any learning disabilities, and I felt that I was now going to be the odd one out. And that feeling of loneliness felt a dark place, needless to say. This was the first time that I was going to be going to a special needs school.